I apologize to you, to the audience, and to all of my colleagues to have to rush it here at the end, but we have a vote on the Senate floor that they're going to close in about 3 minutes. I want to thank you for appearing before this committee. You have been accessible to the members and staff on both sides of the aisle of the Finance Committee throughout a rigorous process, and I want the whole world to know that you spent hours in meetings answering questions outside of this hearing and providing documents and responses on issue after issue after issue.
Oh, we're going to get
You've
to
gone
those.
through the most thorough vetting process that any committee in this Congress puts any through. And I think that you have come through well and deserve to be confirmed. I would like to remind my colleagues that the deadline for submitting any questions for the record is 5 p.m. today, 5 p.m. today. And Mr. Kennedy, we ask that you respond to those questions as quickly as you possibly can. With that, I'm going to leave you in this room and run over to vote. This hearing will be adjourned. I still encourage the audience to be polite and respectful no matter what side of the issues you may be on. And
So, confirmation hearings are going around right now with RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel. We're going to go over everything that happened with RFK yesterday and to review over the latest on the swampy attacks from the Dems, from the Rhinos, from all those people. And before we go into that, just make sure you hit like and subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it, as you'll get more content throughout each week on what is going on in this world. So let's get to it.
Influencer
let's hear what they got to say.
Meeting is, quote, profoundly monumental for this movement.
One thing quickly is that everybody's doing a hit piece. If you listen to these words, they're all hit pieces. All hit pieces for the snapshots and the sound bites.
So what happens? Vaccinations go down, there's a measles outbreak, and children start dying. But you double down. You didn't give up. Just 4 days after the prime minister declared a state of emergency, 16 people already dead. You sent a letter to him promoting the idea that the children had died not from measles, but from, quote, defective vaccine. You launched the idea that a measles vaccine caused these deaths. You are a very influential man. In fact, you are called the leader of the Disinformation Dozen. Multiple UNICEF and WHO, the World Health Organization, investigated this. They say the claims are false. It is not biologically possible what you claimed. And yet, ultimately, more than 70 people died because they didn't get vaccines. So my question is, do you accept even a scintilla, just even a sliver of responsibility for the drop in vaccinations and the subsequent deaths of more than 70 people? Anything you do differently?
No, absolutely not. There were 2 incidents in which children died. In 2015 and again in 2008. 2015, it was from the measles vaccine. That's what the New Zealand General Hospital found. The government of Samoa banned the measles vaccine after the 2018. I arrived in July of the next year after the ban would have
Everybody hear that banter going on behind them?
Mr. Chairman, understanding that you wanted to hold this to a minute and that I don't get to present all the facts and documentation I've got, how about if we just decide to make entries for the record on exactly what the record shows about Mr. Kennedy?
Before we go any further, let's take a guess, everyone. Give me a few seconds. Who is this? Who is this famous, amazing senator? Who is a senator who would be causing this much trouble, this many problems, so many issues, force Kennedy to get confirmed? And who would be so rightfully inclined to say, this needs to be put in the record, huh? This needs to be put in the record. Anybody guesses? Anybody at all? Nope, going once, twice, 3 times. Oh, it's Pocahontas. Liz Warren has been going hard at these nominees where she feels like her voice is just not being heard. She wants to make sure everything's put into the record. She said this in every single confirmation hearing. And nothing for nothing. I don't like you. I don't like her. I don't like you. I'm going to just talk directly to you, Liz. I don't like you, hon. I don't like your attitude. I don't like the way that you talk to people. I don't like the way you're treating people. And I don't like the way you ran your presidential campaign either. Didn't connect with me, didn't vibe with me. However, give it up, girl. Doing too much.
Kennedy's participation. And I think he's answered the yes or no question. He takes no responsibility.
Senator Warren, we will do that.
He doesn't have any
And
responsibility.
Mr. Kennedy, and to all
The man's got no responsibility.
the senators, every senator knows that following this hearing, they will be able to ask you questions off the record, and you will be able to put answers back onto the record. So please give that answer. I apologize that we're shutting you off for giving a full response right now.
I don't think he's that sorry.
Senator Smith, and
thank
we
you.
are way over time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Kennedy, you have said that you want to give infectious diseases a break for about 8 years. You spoke about this with Senator Cantwell. My question to you has to do with avian flu. Over 100 million birds called. The disease has spread to dairy cows, and there are now 67 confirmed human cases and 1 death. So, Mr. Kennedy, do you intend to give research on bird flu a break?
No, I intend to devote the appropriate resources to preventing pandemics. That's an essential part of my job.
What do you think?
That is an essential part of his job, and nothing for nothing. It seems, I don't know, throughout the past 4 years of the past administration with a lot of their policies, and with over the past 2 years of hearing about the avian flu coming back, wouldn't surprise me at all if we find a little nefarious actions going on with the bird flu itself, whether it's passing its transmission or manipulating its genetic sequencing to be able to infect humans. It's just kind of strange. And who knows, could be a setup.
Is causing the avian influenza.
They are all trying to go
I
after
think the
this.
H5N1 virus is.
So that's good to hear, because in a recent book, I
It
will
is a-
submit this for the
it is a real
record because we
virus.
don't have that much
But
time. Mr. Kennedy
he did it right
has
there.
questioned the scientific basis for germs causing disease and the power of
And
vaccines
he's never
and
done that.
antibiotics.
What is that?
I've never
Cure
questioned.
disease.
What is that? I just want to add into the record that the man is just covered in germs and just doesn't believe that there are such things as germs. So I just want it to be in the record so it can show that this man doesn't believe that there are actual microbials and germs out there. You sound ridiculous, lady. And these public hearings,
I will
everyone
submit that
knows
for
that
the
this is
record.
ridiculous.
Money
Okay.
and influence
And then we got this
wherever
crap.
they lead, even if that may mean the tragic deaths of children and other vulnerable people. Now, Mr. Kennedy is fond of saying he's not making recommendations
You know, I think I've seen this
about
creature
whether
before.
parents should vaccinate their
I'm
children.
100% sure.
He's just asking questions and giving people choices. It's a slippery tactic to dodge any real responsibility for his words and actions. And it is, in my view, absurd coming from somebody who's trying to win confirmation for a job that is entirely about making recommendations. These recommendations are going to have life or death consequences.
Life and death consequences. Yes, they will. And this is why the people want RFK in this position, is because these life and death consequences won't be so consequential for the American people. Very simply put. And this creature has made many appearances before and is still making his appearances in almost every single confirmation hearing to make sure that he knows that everything that all of these nominees are doing are completely unethical and that none of them should be confirmed. Well, I got one thing to tell you, Supreme Leader Snow, that you need to step off. You maybe need to get sliced and diced back up into the little pieces that Kylo Ren put you in. However, yeah, you know you just reincarnated and now you're sitting on the Senate floor. You want more power? I don't think so. This breather here just wants to
American
keep
people.
on trying to
Mr. Kennedy, if
pull
you are
out.
confirmed, your recommendations determine which
Tomorrow we'll get
vaccines
to Tulsi
senior
Gabbard with him.
citizens
And
get
he
for
just
free through
irritation.
Medicare. Your recommendation
Yeah, and anyone knows that
determine
all
which
these people are,
vaccines are given to millions
old.
of kids. Peddling
Old.
these
Everybody who's a
anti-vaccine
senator is old.
conspiracy theories, as our chief health officer is going to endanger the lives of kids and seniors across the nation.
As much happening in healthcare as other
This is my favorite
nations.
part here. Here's the best
We have
one.
85 million people who are uninsured.
I didn't put the clip in.
underinsured, who have all
Many people have
kinds of
seen it
chronic
about the onesies.
illnesses. Our life expectancy.
My man here is obsessed about the onesies, trying to get him talking about supporting anti-vaccine onesies for babies that he had nothing to do about. But I think that this clip is a little bit more important from the Sanders the Kennedy exchange.
Is lower than other countries, and for working class people in this country, they are living 6-7 years shorter lives than the top 1%. We got a problem, okay? And I'm going to suggest some ideas that I think can remedy that.
Okay, John.
Last
Okay.
year, the insurance
George.
industry in this country made
George
over
Steinbrenner.
$70 billion.
That's 70 billion with
At
a
the same
B.
time, 85
70
million
billion with a
Americans
B.
uninsured or underinsured. Do you agree with me that the United States should join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Yes? No?
Senator,
See the gotcha questions there. Trying to ask him if it's a human right. He answers this beautifully, but to twist around the issues with healthcare and making healthcare a human right, you know what? I'm going to let the good old senator explain it, because the way that he explains it, it just takes the answer and smacks it right back in his face, because
I
it
can't
isn't
give you a yes
just
or no
a natural
answer
right,
to that question.
Healthcare a human right? Is healthcare a
constitutional
human
right. It's not a constitutional
in the way
right.
that free speech is a human right.
Yeah.
I would say it's different, because with free speech doesn't cost anybody anything, but in healthcare, if you smoke cigarettes for 20 years and you get cancer, you are now taking from the pool. And so are you guaranteed the same right, or is there also a duty?
I'm sorry. I'd love to talk for an hour with you. We got a few minutes left here.
He's got onesies to get to. No, he answered that beautifully. What he was basically allaying was that it's just not fair if everybody's going to be on the same, you say, universal health care. We'll give it that name. Same universal health care. It's just going to be completely unfair to those people who go to the gym, work out, eat healthy, do everything right. That their copays, everything else must be higher because of someone else who smokes, has a chronic disease, and needs constant medical attention. Now, I know this from my own experience, living still on the Medicaid services. I personally am in the process of writing a letter to the White House regarding the Medicaid issue, the Medicaid crisis. It is one of the biggest expenses, as we all know, for our country. And with being one of the best in the world, we should have the best and the greatest technology to help combat some illnesses out there, like adult onset diabetes, obesity, HIV, and definitely some forms of cancer that are completely preventable, and are the biggest eaters of the Medicaid system. From my own personal experience, someone who lives with HIV and who knows that the medical system is not the greatest. Simple solutions to cost benefit analysis, because nothing for nothing, I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of how expensive those medications are. If I didn't have Medicaid, it would cost me almost $4,000 a month to try to stay alive. And I think that is really the big root of the problem, is that we need someone in NIH like RFK who's going to go in and look at the pharmaceutical companies and be like, why the F are you charging this much? Why? Why does it need to be $3,800 for a month's supply of a necessity item? However, they'll send a full prescription to a 15-year-old who needs it for benzodiazepines, and they'll give them 4 refills and X, Y, and Z with it. And it makes no sense, because the pharmaceutical maintenance for like the virus HIV is a maintenance, and you always have to be on something. You figure they would have developed a cure by now, which I can give 99% certainty that there is a cure. The only reason why there hasn't been a cure out yet is because of the benefits going into the pharmaceutical companies and throughout the insurance companies as well. Many other people have covered this with the debacle with the insurance companies, the adjusters, the amount of kickbacks that everybody gets with them. And, you know, it doesn't leave any room for people's actual well-being when it becomes a monopolistic and capitalistic marketplace. However, it shouldn't be like that. There really should be, in my personal view, there really, really should have some sort of regulations when it comes to regarding medication, people, what they have, how about that they're going about their lives. Are they trying to improve themselves? Because I live my life very, very healthy. I try not to put anything that's going to harm my body. I definitely don't put myself in risky situations anymore. And, you know, nothing for nothing. It wasn't like I was looking for it. It was, you know, bad situation. And the bottom line is that if there was a cure out there, there would be a lot more healthier, productive members of society who would already be in society contributing instead of taking away from the pot. They would be giving to the pot. And I think that's a really big, big thing that needs to be looked at, is that people who are on Medicaid for these specific illnesses, diseases, you know, HIV, adult onset diabetes, the things that we can simply cure, you're gonna have to start working on it. You know, like I said, staying healthy is a very, very important thing. That's why I changed my life around. However, if I was an unhealthy POS and decided to go about my day very unhealthy, doing drugs and partying and everything else, you know, they'd still give me the medical coverage. So I get where RFK is coming from with everything, is that it's not fair because people don't have wake-up calls until they die, and then they wake up dead, which conundrum in that one. But that's just the bottom line and the truth.
Every other country on earth says healthcare, whether you're poor or rich, young or old, is a human right. I'm not hearing you say that. All right, you've talked about the drug companies, and maybe
I
we
love
agree
just the
on this
gotchas,
one.
man.
As you all know,
The
despite the
gotchas.
drug companies making over $100 billion in profits,
Yeah,
paying
no shit.
CEOs outrageous compensation packages, we in some cases pay 10 times more for the same drug.
Yep.
Will you support legislation that I will introduce which says that in America we should not be paying a nickel more for prescription drugs than people around the rest of the world?
I think they need to rewrite that. He needs to rephrase it, saying people that need vital medication to keep their lives going should be brought down to almost a nickel for the cost. You know, it shouldn't be that. You know, there are just a lot of examples of, you know, GLP-1, for example. Someone who doesn't really need to lose weight because it's not going to threaten their lives, then they shouldn't be prescribed that, but they do. Benzos, same thing. Someone has anxiety, but not that bad of anxiety, they'll still give it to them. And it's just, you know, I think it has to really do with the decisions of decision makers who have that power in their hands. And our lawmakers need to be on top of this.
And union members in
And
America.
this is my favorite.
Without
the
cause,
big
the
grand
president
finale.
took the unprecedented step of firing a duly appointed commissioner of the National Labor Relations Board.
I
2
do
years
not
before a
understand
term
you,
was
Chuck
set to
Schumer.
expire. Then last
Someone
night,
needs to
President Trump
impeach your
fired 2
ass.
Democratic members of the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, leaving that body frozen without a quorum. Let's be very clear. These unlawful firings are a direct assault on working people.
They're not. They're not a direct assault on working people. Direct assault on working people would be, let's see, no more labor unions. And those are working people. These are people that lost their jobs because they weren't doing their jobs, Chuck. They weren't doing their jobs, Chuck. Like, you barely do your job, Chuck. Like, you haven't done much for your state, Chuck. Okay, Chuck, I live in your state, Chuck. And nothing for nothing, Chuck. You're running out of luck with all the words that you're trying to mock. So please, I don't really give up what you have to say. Just please stop acting like a lame duck.
The president's
that all
decision
rhymed.
will increase workplace discrimination,
It
worsen
won't.
unfair
It
hiring
won't.
practices,
All,
and
only
erode workers'
discrimination is going to
ability
be
to
there
push
is
for better
discriminating
wages and
against the
safer
people
working
who are just
conditions.
against keeping
What
America
these
first.
firings will do is stack the deck against employees trying to organize or join a union to get better benefits and better pay. Donald Trump, he says he wants to help working families. This is no way to do it. And these firings are clearly unlawful. Unlawful. These
Chuck, you're
purges are
fired.
another example of Donald Trump's lawless presidency, like his pardon of insurrectionists, eliminating independent watchdogs, and illegally freezing congressional-approved funding.
In other words, getting rid of all of the fail-safes, all of the backups, all of the things to try to cover your ass from exposing the truth on what the American people need to see and who these people who are leading us really are. I think the main problem with our whole governmental system is really the senators. And it seems like the senators are more apprehensive to making things better than keeping them the same. And I think it's because they all benefit from this. And there really needs to be a lot of reform change. You know, the term limit thing for senators may be a smart idea because from an outsider looking in, it really boils down to the Senate is causing most of the problems because of all of the old heads that are in there. And it's nothing for nothing. It's time to primary people. And you're coming up, Chuck. You're coming up in 2026. And I would love to see someone run. I will run against you for all I know, you know, because I don't really think that you represent the New Yorkers who currently live in New York. I think that you're an old elitist, and all of your old elitist friends have died, and you're the only one left of the dinosaurs, and you're trying to bring them back with Jurassic Park. And sorry, John Hammond was right. You can't do it, and life will find a way. And as it is now, this is you panicking because you're realizing that chickens are coming home to roost. They are coming home to roost. And I hope that everybody enjoyed this. I really, really do. I really enjoyed going through and breaking down some of the nonsense throughout the day. Hopefully tomorrow after my radio show that I have to do in the morning for the weather, I'll be able to do another segment in the morning. I was watching the Cash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard confirmation hearings that are both phenomenal today. I'm sure people will see clips of them throughout the night and evening. And hopefully I'll have some new information for everybody tomorrow. And I really do enjoy everyone who did tune in. And please make sure you like and subscribe for further content. And I would really appreciate that. And please comment below if you like something, you don't like something, you love my face, you hate my face. I would appreciate it. Everybody, until the next one, see you.